Hey guys, welcome back to Sleeping Stone Whispers. Tonight's story isn't about heroes or drama, it's about the quiet, unnoticed clothing routines of ordinary people, repeated day after day, year after year. We'll move slowly through familiar fabrics, worn buttons, and simple choices that require no thought at all. Nothing surprising happens here, and that's the point. A peaceful journey meant to calm your mind and let sleep arrive naturally. If this kind of gentle, boring storytelling helps you relax, please like the video, subscribe to Sleeping Stone Whispers, and let this story play as you drift off to sleep. Dawn arrives without announcing itself. It seeps in slowly, thinning the darkness rather than replacing it, touching the edges of the room in a way that is almost unnoticeable. The air is still. The bed has not yet cooled from the warmth of sleep. Somewhere beyond the walls, morning exists, but here it remains quiet, patient, and unhurried. The person in the bed does not wake all at once. There is no sudden movement, no thought that feels complete. Instead, awareness drifts back gently, like a slow tide returning to shore. The ceiling looks the same as it did last night. The light is different, but only slightly. Nothing feels urgent. Eventually, the body shifts. Feet find the floor. The day begins in the same way it always does, without ceremony. There is no reason to rush. There is nothing special planned. This is an ordinary morning, meant to unfold as it always has. Near the bed, resting on the back of a chair, is a shirt. It was worn yesterday. It was not placed there carefully, nor thrown aside carelessly. It simply ended up there, folded by habit more than intention. The fabric is soft from use, shaped faintly to the body that wore it. It holds no scent strong enough to notice, only the quiet familiarity of something already known. The choice of what to wear does not feel like a choice at all. The shirt is there. It worked yesterday. There is no reason it will not work again today. It is lifted from the chair without inspection. No one checks for wrinkles. No one wonders how it looks. It is simply pulled on, the way it always is. The fabric settles into place, resting against shoulders and arms in a way that feels expected. The sleeves fall to the same point they always do. The collar sits without complaint. There is comfort in this sameness, though it is not something that needs to be acknowledged. In the quiet of early morning, small sounds exist but do not demand attention. The soft movement of fabric. The faint creak of the floor. The slow rhythm of breathing. These sounds blend together, forming a background that does not interrupt thought, because there are very few thoughts to interrupt. The shirt has its own history, though it is not an important one. It has been washed many times. It has been worn on days that were forgettable and days that were slightly less so. It has been present during meals, during walks, during moments of sitting and doing very little at all. It does not carry meaning. It carries familiarity. As the morning continues, light grows stronger. Shadows shift along the wall. The room changes without asking permission. The shirt remains the same. It moves as the body moves, following each small task without resistance. Breakfast is prepared slowly, without excitement. The shirt brushes lightly against the edge of the counter. A sleeve comes close to the table, then moves away. These moments pass without being noticed, because they happen every day. There is no mirror check. No pause to evaluate. The shirt is already part of the day, and the day has already accepted it. There is comfort in not needing to decide, in allowing routine to take over where thought might otherwise interfere. Time continues forward at a steady pace. Morning becomes late morning. The shirt remains. It absorbs the shape of the day, bending and settling, doing exactly what is expected of it and nothing more. Outside, other people are beginning their own days. Many of them are wearing clothes chosen in the same quiet way, guided by habit rather than desire. Shirts from yesterday. Pants that feel familiar. Socks that match only because they always do. None of this needs attention. The shirt has no ambitions. It does not try to impress. It exists only to be worn, to be part of the unnoticed background of ordinary life. And in that role, it performs perfectly. As the hours pass, the morning loses its identity. It becomes just another stretch of time filled with small movements and long pauses. The shirt remains present, unchanged, unremarkable, reliable. There is something calming in this repetition, though it may never be named as such. The body knows what to expect. The fabric knows where to rest. The day knows how it will unfold, at least for now. And so dawn completes its quiet work. The same shirt from yesterday continues into today, carrying nothing forward except familiarity, easing the mind by asking nothing at all. Later in the day, when nothing in particular is happening, there is a moment set aside for folding clothes. It is not marked on any schedule. It simply arrives when the laundry has dried and the pile has grown large enough to be in the way. The room is quiet again, much like it was in the morning, and the light now feels softer, less curious. The clothes rest in a loose stack. Shirts lie on top of one another without order. Trousers are folded only once, if at all. Socks are tangled together in pairs that may or may not belong together. None of this matters. There is no urgency to make it perfect. The person sits down and begins. Hands move before the mind does. Fabric is lifted, smoothed, folded, and placed aside. The motions are familiar enough that they no longer require attention. There is no counting, no checking, no real awareness of progress. A shirt is folded along lines that have been formed over many washings. The creases already exist, waiting to be followed. Sleeves are guided inward without thought. The bottom edge is lifted and set into place. The shirt becomes a smaller version of itself, ready to be stacked, though the stack does not need to be neat. Another item follows. Then another. The rhythm stays the same. Lift. Smooth. Fold. Place. Each action leads quietly into the next, like steps on a path that has been walked too many times to notice. The mind drifts while the hands continue working. Thoughts appear briefly and disappear just as easily. Some are unfinished. Some never fully form. The task allows this wandering because it asks for so little in return. The fabric feels familiar. Cotton, worn thin in places. Edges softened by time. These textures are recognized without being named. The hands know how much pressure to use, how quickly to move, when to slow down. Socks are paired without checking patterns. One is stretched slightly, then folded around the other. It does not matter if they match perfectly. They will be worn without anyone noticing. They always are. There is no music playing. There does not need to be. The quiet is enough. The soft sound of cloth moving against cloth fills the room gently, then fades. As the pile shrinks, there is no sense of accomplishment. The task is not something to be proud of. It is simply something that gets done, like breathing or blinking. Necessary, but not remarkable. Finished clothes are placed into drawers that are already familiar. Shirts rest on top of shirts. Pants find their usual place. Everything fits because it always has. Nothing needs to be rearranged. When the last item is folded, there is no pause to admire the work. The hands stop because there is nothing left to do. The moment passes without ceremony. The folded clothes remain where they are, waiting quietly for another day. Soon they will be unfolded again, worn, and eventually folded once more in the same unthinking way. And just like that, the task fades into memory, leaving behind only order, routine, and a calm that comes from doing something so often that it no longer needs attention at all. There comes a small moment in the day when socks are chosen. It is not announced. It does not feel important. It happens quietly, usually while sitting on the edge of a bed or standing near a drawer that opens without sound. The drawer has been opened many times before, and it slides out as expected. Inside, the socks are arranged loosely. Some are paired. Some are not. Colors repeat themselves in soft, faded tones. Nothing here stands out. Nothing asks to be chosen over anything else. 2 socks are picked up. They look the same. The color matches exactly, or close enough that it makes no difference. The fabric feels familiar, slightly thinner at the heel, slightly stretched at the opening. There is no inspection. No comparison. No weighing of options. The choice is made without thought. 1 sock is pulled onto 1 foot. Then the other follows. The order does not matter. The feet accept them easily, as they always do. The socks slide into place, settling around toes and ankles without resistance. For a moment, there is a pause. Not because a decision remains, but because the body naturally slows between actions. The socks feel the same as they did yesterday. Warm enough. Soft enough. Unremarkable in every way. No one wonders if another pair would have been better. No one considers style, comfort, or meaning. These socks are sufficient, and that is enough. The drawer is closed. The sound is dull and familiar. The moment ends as quickly as it began, leaving behind nothing to remember. As the day continues, the socks remain unnoticed. They move with each step, bending and stretching quietly. They do their work without asking for attention, without offering anything new. If someone were to look, they would see nothing special. Just ordinary socks on ordinary feet, carrying an ordinary person through an ordinary day. And that is all the moment ever needed to be, a quiet choice between 2 identical socks, made without thinking, and forgotten just as easily. There is a garment that remains in use long after it was first purchased. It hangs in the closet or rests folded on a shelf, no longer new, no longer noticed. It has been worn through many seasons, on days that blend together without distinction. The fabric has softened, the color has faded slightly, and the buttons have been repaired more than once. The buttons are small and plain. They were never decorative. Their purpose has always been simple, and they continue to serve it quietly. At some point, one came loose. It did not fall off all at once. It began to wobble, then hang, then finally separate, leaving behind a loose thread and a small gap. Repairing it did not feel like an event. A needle was found. Thread was chosen because it was close enough in color. The stitches were uneven, but they held. The button returned to its place, not as it once was, but as it needed to be. Over time, this happened again. Another button. The same one. Sometimes a different one. Each repair added a few more stitches, layering thread upon thread. The back of the fabric grew thicker where hands had worked patiently, without hurry. The person wearing the garment does not think about this history. Fingers move over the buttons each day, fastening them in the same order. The motion is familiar. The slight resistance of the thread is expected. Nothing about it feels unusual. The buttons close the garment gently, holding fabric together in a way that feels reliable. They do not shine. They do not catch the light. They exist only to do their job, and they do it well enough. When the garment is washed, the buttons are checked briefly, almost without noticing. They remain in place. That is all that matters. No one considers replacing them with new ones. These are good enough. Each repair has added to the quiet life of the garment. The stitches tell a story that no one stops to read. They mark time without announcing it, recording use through repetition rather than change. As the day moves on, the buttons are fastened and unfastened again. Morning to evening. Evening to night. The cycle continues without interruption. Eventually, there will be another loose thread. Another small repair. The needle will return. The process will repeat, just as it always has. And so the buttons remain, repaired many times, holding everything together in a way that is steady, familiar, and easy to forget. The morning begins before the sun has fully decided to rise. The light outside is uncertain, neither night nor day, resting somewhere in between. Inside the room, shadows remain soft and long, moving slowly as the minutes pass. Nothing feels hurried at this hour. Getting dressed happens quietly. There is no need to turn on bright lights. The body knows where everything is without looking. The floor is cool. The air feels still, holding on to the last traces of night. Clothes are chosen by memory rather than sight. A shirt is lifted from where it was left. Pants are found folded nearby. Each item feels familiar in the hands, recognizable by texture alone. There is comfort in not having to think. Movements are slow and practiced. One sleeve, then the other. A foot, then the next. Buttons are fastened carefully, though the eyes remain half closed. The routine unfolds in the same order every day, unchanged and dependable. Outside, the world remains quiet. Few sounds drift in. No voices, no traffic, only the distant suggestion of morning beginning elsewhere. Inside, the fabric moves softly, barely making a sound as it settles into place. There is no mirror involved. No adjustment beyond what habit already provides. Clothes sit as they always do, shaped by repeated wear rather than attention. Everything feels correct simply because it always has. As the routine continues, the room grows slightly brighter. The sun edges closer to the horizon, though it has not yet shown itself. The change is subtle, almost unnoticeable, much like the routine itself. Once dressed, there is a brief pause. Not to reflect, but to stand still before moving on. The day has not fully arrived, and there is a quiet comfort in being ready before it does. Soon, the routine will end and the rest of the morning will take over. But for now, in this small window before sunrise, dressing remains a simple, steady act, carried out in silence, just as it has been many times before. There are closets that remain the same year after year. When their doors open, nothing inside feels new or surprising. The shelves hold what they have always held. The hangers rest at familiar distances, supporting clothes that have long since settled into their places. The arrangement does not follow any system that needs explanation. Shirts hang beside other shirts because they always have. Jackets remain where they were first placed, even as seasons pass and return again. Nothing is moved unless it needs to be, and very little ever needs to be. The colors inside the closet are muted and steady. Faded blues, soft grays, quiet browns. These tones repeat themselves without intention. They do not compete for attention. They blend together, creating a calm, unchanging view. Each garment has adjusted to the space it occupies. Sleeves fall in the same direction. Fabric bends slightly at the shoulders where hangers support it. These shapes have formed slowly, over time, without being noticed. Opening the closet door does not invite decision. It offers reassurance instead. Everything inside is familiar. Everything is usable. There is no pressure to choose wisely because nothing here is meant to stand out. Occasionally, a piece of clothing is removed and worn. When it returns, it goes back to the same spot. The space remembers where it belongs. The order restores itself naturally. Dust gathers lightly on the shelf above, undisturbed. It is not enough to matter. It simply exists, another sign of time passing quietly. When the closet door closes again, nothing inside changes. The garments wait, patient and still, ready for the next time they are needed. Closets like these do not tell stories of fashion or change. They tell stories of continuity. Of wearing what works, keeping what remains, and allowing things to stay exactly as they are. In the moments after waking, before the day has fully formed, the closest things matter the most. Not because they are important, but because they are near. Beside the bed, on a chair or folded at the foot, clothing waits where it was left the night before. There is no reaching across the room. No searching. The body moves toward what is already within arm's length. A shirt is picked up simply because it is there. Pants follow for the same reason. The choice is made by distance, not preference. The fabric still holds a trace of warmth from the room. It feels familiar in the hands, shaped by use. There is no pause to consider if something else might be better. Morning does not ask for that kind of attention. Getting dressed happens slowly, quietly. Clothes are pulled on without adjustment. They settle where they always do, guided by habit rather than thought. The body accepts them easily, without resistance. The bed remains behind, unmade, unchanged. The clothes that were closest to it have now moved on, becoming part of the day. The rest of the room stays as it was, waiting. This way of dressing avoids decisions. It keeps the morning simple. What is nearby becomes what is worn, and that is enough. As the person moves away from the bed, the moment fades. The reason for the choice is already forgotten. Only the routine remains. Wearing what is closest to the bed is not a habit that was planned. It developed naturally, through repetition, through mornings that required very little thought. And so the day begins with clothing chosen by proximity, allowing the mind to stay quiet just a little longer. There is a certain feeling that comes from wearing fabric that has been worn many times before. It does not announce itself. It simply rests against the body, familiar and expected, carrying a soft weight that feels steady rather than heavy. The fabric moves easily, bending where it always bends, stretching only as much as it needs to. It has learned the shape of the body through repetition. Sleeves fall naturally. Seams sit where they should without being adjusted. There is no stiffness left in it. Whatever sharpness it once had has faded away with time and washing. What remains is something gentle, something that no longer demands attention. As the day continues, the fabric stays close. It shifts with each movement, brushing lightly against skin. The sensation is constant, but it is not noticed. It exists in the background, like a quiet sound that fades into silence. The weight of the fabric offers a small sense of grounding. It reminds the body where it is without interrupting thought. There is comfort in this steady presence, though it is not something that needs to be named. When sitting, the fabric folds softly. When standing, it straightens again. These changes happen without effort, without resistance. Everything feels natural, predictable. Nothing about the fabric stands out. It does not itch. It does not cling. It simply remains where it is, doing exactly what is expected of it. As hours pass, the familiarity deepens. The fabric becomes easier to forget, blending into the rhythm of the day. It carries no meaning beyond usefulness. By evening, the soft weight is still there, unchanged. It has followed the body through ordinary moments, asking for nothing, offering quiet comfort in return. And when the day finally slows, the fabric remains familiar, steady, and easy to ignore. Exactly as it has always been. There are mornings when the mirror is not used at all. It remains on the wall, reflecting the room without being consulted. Getting dressed happens elsewhere, guided by habit rather than appearance. Clothes are picked up and put on without checking how they look. The hands recognize each piece by touch alone. The body already knows how everything will feel once it is worn. A shirt is pulled over the head. Pants are stepped into and lifted into place. The motions are smooth and unremarkable. There is no pause to adjust or evaluate. Without the mirror, nothing needs approval. There is no judgment, no correction. Clothes sit as they always do, shaped by use rather than attention. The absence of reflection keeps the mind quiet. There is nothing to analyze, nothing to change. The routine moves forward without interruption. As the day begins, the clothes remain unnoticed. No one wonders if they fit well or match properly. They simply exist, doing their job. The mirror stays unused, holding an image that was never needed. Dressing without looking becomes just another small way the morning stays calm. And so the clothes are chosen, worn, and forgotten, all without a single glance back. There is a moment, usually after getting dressed, when sleeves are rolled. It happens without thought, as naturally as tying shoes or closing a door behind oneself. The motion has been repeated so many times that it no longer feels like a decision. Each sleeve is folded to the same point on the arm. The fabric is turned once, then again, just enough to stay in place. The hands move in a familiar pattern, pressing lightly, smoothing the edge without checking the result. The roll is neither neat nor careless. It is simply correct in the way it always has been. The fabric settles into the crease it remembers, forming a line shaped by repetition rather than effort. There is no reason given for rolling the sleeves. It is not too warm. It is not too cold. The habit exists on its own, detached from explanation. Once rolled, the sleeves stay as they are. They do not slip down. They do not need to be fixed. The arms move freely, unencumbered by extra fabric. Throughout the day, the sleeves remain unchanged. They follow the arms through small tasks and long pauses, holding their shape without attention. By evening, the creases are still there, faint but familiar. When the shirt is removed, the fabric slowly relaxes, though the memory of the fold remains. The next morning, the sleeves will be rolled again in exactly the same way, continuing a routine that does not ask to be noticed and does not need to be remembered. There is a pair of shoes that has been worn often enough to feel familiar before they are even put on. They rest near the door, slightly misshapen, holding the outline of the feet that return to them each day. Their position rarely changes. When they are picked up, there is no stiffness left in them. The leather bends easily, or the fabric yields without resistance. The opening is already wide enough, the heel softened by time. Feet slide in without effort. There is no need to adjust or press down hard. The shoes accept them immediately, as if remembering exactly where each part belongs. The sole meets the foot in the same way it always has. Laces are tied loosely, or not at all, depending on what the shoes allow. The motion is quick and unremarkable. There is no need to check for comfort. It is already there. As walking begins, the shoes move naturally with each step. They bend where they are meant to bend. They support without being noticed. There is no awareness of pressure or imbalance. The ground passes beneath quietly. Pavement, floor, earth, it all feels the same through soles that have learned how to absorb it. The shoes do their work without interruption. Over time, they have adapted. The inner lining is worn smooth. The shape has shifted slightly, molded by repeated use. They no longer belong to anyone else. At the end of the day, the shoes are removed and set back in their place. They remain open, relaxed, waiting patiently. Tomorrow, the feet will return. The shoes will recognize them immediately, continuing their quiet agreement to move together without thought. As the day begins to move forward, there are moments when the body passes through hallways without stopping. These spaces are narrow and familiar, connecting one room to another without asking to be noticed. The movement through them is slow and unremarkable. With each step, fabric shifts gently. Sleeves brush against sides. Pants move softly with the rhythm of walking. The sound is faint, almost lost beneath the quiet of the house. It is not a sound meant to be heard. It exists only because movement exists. Cloth against cloth, fabric against air, creating a whisper that follows briefly and then fades. The hallway remains still as the person passes through. Walls hold their silence. The floor responds with only the smallest noise, if any at all. The fabric's movement blends into this calm, becoming part of it. There is no awareness of the sound as it happens. The mind is elsewhere, or nowhere in particular. The body continues forward, guided by routine rather than intention. Each time the hallway is crossed, the same soft sound returns. It does not grow louder. It does not change. It simply repeats, consistent and forgettable. Once the hallway is left behind, the sound disappears completely. It does not linger. It leaves no trace. And so the fabric continues to move quietly through familiar spaces, marking time with the slightest sound, unnoticed and unimportant, just as it has always done. Washing day arrives without excitement. It is not marked on a calendar, but it comes regularly enough to be expected. The clothes have reached the point where they need attention, and that is reason enough. The washing machine is filled slowly. One item at a time, placed inside without order. Colors mix without concern. Fabrics settle into the drum, folding over one another as they have many times before. The machine is started. A button is pressed. The door closes with a familiar sound. From that moment on, there is nothing to do but wait. The waiting is unremarkable. Time continues as it always does. Other small tasks fill the space, or nothing fills it at all. The sound of water moving through the machine becomes part of the background. Occasionally, the rhythm of the washing cycle is noticed. A low hum. A gentle turn. Then silence again. These sounds do not ask for attention. They pass quietly. The clothes inside are unseen, moving slowly, being cleaned in the same way they always are. There is no concern about the outcome. It will be acceptable. It always is. When the cycle ends, the machine becomes still. The waiting shifts slightly, but it does not end. The clothes can remain there for a while. Nothing depends on immediate action. Eventually, the door is opened. Warm, damp fabric is lifted out, heavier than before. It is carried away without ceremony, ready for the next quiet stage. Washing day does not interrupt the rhythm of life. It fits into it easily, defined by patience, repetition, and the calm certainty that everything will be ready when it is ready. After washing, clothes are moved to hangers or a line, stretching out to dry in the afternoon light. The air is warm, but not warm enough to hurry them along. They sway slightly if a breeze passes, but mostly they remain still, absorbing time as patiently as they always do. The fabric is soft now, damp but not heavy, settling into shapes it knows well. Shirts hang open, sleeves dangling. Pants drape straight, heels touching lightly or floating just above the surface. Everything rests where it was placed, obeying gravity quietly, without complaint. The sunlight touches the fibers gently, illuminating familiar textures. Faded colors appear brighter for a moment before fading back again. Nothing changes in any meaningful way. The movement of shadows across the fabric is slow, almost imperceptible, marking time in the calmest possible way. Birds may chirp in the distance. Wind may brush briefly, lifting edges and sleeves, but the clothes return to stillness just as easily. Each item waits patiently for the day to progress, doing nothing more than exist. Passing by, there is no thought given to the clothes. They are ordinary, familiar, and steady. Yet in their quiet patience, they carry a subtle comfort, a reminder that some things simply follow the natural rhythm of the day without asking for attention. When the clothes are finally dry, the choice of what to wear becomes simple. It is not a decision guided by style, color, or preference. It is guided only by readiness: what is dry first, what is ready to be used. A shirt is picked up from the line or pile. It is crisp in some places, soft in others, carrying the faint memory of sunlight and air. Pants follow, smooth where they hung, slightly wrinkled where they were folded. Nothing about them feels new, yet everything feels familiar. The body slides into the fabric easily. The clothing has been waiting quietly, and now it fits as expected. The hands smooth sleeves and pant legs without hesitation, guided by habit rather than thought. There is no mirror check. No pause to wonder if another garment would feel better. The first items that are dry are simply worn, and that is sufficient. By choosing in this way, the day begins with minimal effort. Time is preserved. Decisions are avoided. The clothes, having dried first, carry the body forward into the morning, quietly fulfilling their role, unnoticed yet essential. Some mornings, clothing is chosen not for variety, but for familiarity. The same muted blues, soft grays, and quiet browns appear day after day. They are colors that have been worn many times, each repetition offering a small, unnoticed comfort. When a shirt is lifted from the drawer or a pair of pants selected from the closet, the colors feel right because they always have. There is no thought about matching or contrast. The repetition itself provides a kind of calm, a steady reassurance that nothing unexpected will happen. Wearing these familiar colors allows the mind to wander. Decisions are few, attention is free, and the rhythm of the day can begin gently. The body moves naturally in garments it has worn countless times. Even if someone were to look, they would notice nothing remarkable. The colors do not stand out. They do not demand recognition. They are simply present, quietly holding their place in daily life. By the end of the morning, the comfort of repeated colors has done its work. It has made the day predictable, calm, and just a little easier to inhabit, all without drawing attention to itself. Some days pass entirely unnoticed. The clothes that are chosen, carefully folded, washed, and worn, go entirely unseen by anyone else. The colors, the fabric, the way sleeves are rolled or shoes fit, none of it matters to anyone beyond the wearer. There is a quiet freedom in this. Clothing is not meant to impress. There is no judgment to anticipate, no expectation to meet. A shirt is worn because it is clean. Pants are chosen because they are dry. That is enough. As the day moves forward, interactions happen, but no one comments on what is being worn. Conversations carry on, tasks are completed, and life continues with the garments blending seamlessly into the background. This unnoticed presence makes the daily routine lighter. Decisions are simple. Effort is measured only by necessity. The body moves, and the clothes follow, doing their work silently. By evening, the garments remain ordinary, unremarkable, and unpraised. Yet in that very ordinariness lies a quiet peace, a reminder that not everything needs to be seen or remarked upon to serve its purpose. There is a jacket that hangs in the closet, unassuming and soft from years of use. Its fabric has faded, seams have loosened, and the lining has thinned in places, but it remains reliable. Every crease, every worn edge tells a story, though none of it is ever spoken aloud. The jacket has been worn in many small ways, on errands, during walks, while reading in quiet rooms. It has been carried through seasons, washed and dried countless times, yet nothing about it is dramatic. Its history is ordinary, stitched into the fabric rather than recorded in memory. When it is chosen to be worn, it slips over the shoulders easily. It conforms immediately to the body, offering comfort without demand. The buttons fasten without resistance, the pockets are still deep enough to hold small, everyday items, and the sleeves hang just as they always have. Outside, no one notices its history. No one remarks on its years of quiet service. It is simply a jacket, part of the background of the day, blending in with the unremarkable rhythm of life. By evening, the jacket is returned to its place, waiting silently for the next time it is needed. Its quiet history remains intact, unobserved, steady, and familiar, a companion to ordinary life, remembered only by the fabric itself. As the sun dips lower and the day begins to slow, it becomes time to change once more. The garments worn throughout the hours are set aside, slightly worn and warm from use. Evening calls for something softer, quieter, more suited to stillness. Clothes are removed slowly, deliberately. Shirts are lifted over the head. Pants are stepped out of one leg at a time. Each motion is familiar, unhurried, performed almost without thought. The body has done this countless times, and it knows the pattern. Evening clothes are chosen not for appearance, but for comfort. Soft fabrics, loose fits, garments that allow the body to relax. They settle easily, absorbing the shape of the person as if they were made just for these hours of calm. The light in the room is dimmer now. Shadows stretch longer across the floor. Every piece of fabric bends gently in response, the rustle of material barely audible in the quiet. Nothing demands attention, nothing asks for effort. By the time the change is complete, the day's routines have slowed. The body feels lighter, the mind quieter. Clothes have guided the transition, as they always do, from the activity of the day to the stillness of evening. Evening stretches on, and the day's garments are gradually peeled away. There is no rush, no urgency to strip off what has been worn. Each layer is removed with care, folded or draped gently, returning to its place or being prepared for washing. A shirt slips over the shoulders and comes off slowly, revealing familiar skin beneath. Pants are loosened at the waist and stepped out of, one leg at a time. Socks follow last, soft and warm, returning to the drawer from which they came. Every movement is deliberate, quiet, and unhurried. The body feels lighter with each layer removed, though not because the clothes were heavy. Rather, it is the gentle act of undressing itself. The recognition that the day is complete, and the evening belongs to rest. Garments are folded or set aside carefully, returning to their habitual spots. Nothing is left crumpled or forgotten. Even in their absence, they remain a steady presence, ready for another day. As the final layer is removed, the room feels calmer. The day's work is over. The body and mind are prepared for stillness. And the quiet routine of taking off clothes becomes a gentle rhythm, marking the transition from day to night without notice, without effort, and without change. Night falls, and it is time for nightwear. The pajamas or nightshirt are lifted from their place, soft and worn, carrying traces of countless evenings and mornings. Their original color has faded over time, blues soften to pale gray, whites dull to gentle cream, patterns barely visible. Yet the fabric still feels right. The body slips into them easily. The sleeves, the pant legs, the collar, each part fits as if it remembers the shape it has met so many times before. There is no thought about appearance, only the quiet comfort of familiarity. The texture is gentle against skin. Threads are soft, elastic slightly loosened, fabric forgiving in every direction. The nightwear does not cling, it does not irritate, it only rests quietly, carrying the wearer toward rest. There is no mirror, no check, no concern for presentation. The faded colors are unnoticed by anyone, and that is exactly as it should be. These clothes are not for being seen, only for being worn in the quiet hours when the world is hushed. As the night deepens, the nightwear folds and bends naturally with every movement. Its faded color is irrelevant, its purpose is simple and complete. It has served many nights before, and it will continue to do so, unnoticed, unremarkable, and perfectly suitable for sleep. Before the final act of the day, there is a small ritual, folding the clothes that were worn and washed. It is not done with urgency or ceremony. The garments are picked up one by one, soft and pliable, carrying the shape of the body they've just left. Shirts are smoothed over, sleeves tucked neatly or left to fall naturally. Pants are folded at familiar creases. Socks are paired and stacked gently. Each item returns to its place with minimal effort, guided by habit rather than thought. The movements are slow, deliberate, and unremarkable. The hands know what to do without needing direction. The fabric responds in quiet compliance, bending and settling exactly as it has done countless times before. There is no rush. Time passes gently in the dim light of the room. The act of folding becomes part of the rhythm of winding down, a calm punctuation to the day's events. When the last piece is folded, stacked, or draped for tomorrow, the room feels quieter. Everything has been returned to its place. The mind is lighter. The body is ready for sleep. And the day ends with a simple, ordinary order restored. Before sleep, there is a small, unspoken preparation. Clothes for tomorrow are chosen and placed within easy reach, on a chair, at the foot of the bed, or neatly folded on a nearby shelf. They are not selected for excitement or variety, only for practicality. The garments are ordinary, a shirt, pants, perhaps socks. They are familiar, washed, and ready, holding the quiet reassurance of routine. Their position matters only because it makes the morning slightly easier, requiring no thought, no searching, no decision. There is comfort in this small habit. The body knows where to find the fabric, the hands know how it will feel, and the mind is freed from unnecessary questions. Tomorrow will begin smoothly because preparation was done unconsciously tonight. Even in dim light, the clothes seem calm, resting in anticipation. They carry no weight beyond what is necessary, and yet their presence brings a subtle order to the space. With tomorrow's clothes nearby, the day can end fully. The body slips under the covers, and the mind drifts, knowing that the next morning will start just as quietly and predictably as this one. Night comes, and the pajamas are selected. There is no thought given to style, color, or texture. The choice is not deliberate, it is automatic, guided only by what is available and clean. Any pair will do, and that is enough. The body slides into them with ease. The fabric is familiar, soft, worn in, and forgiving. Sleeves and pant legs fall where they are meant to fall. Nothing pinches, nothing irritates. Comfort is the only measure. There is no mirror check, no questioning of how they look. The pajamas are not for being seen. They exist solely to cover, to soothe, and to allow sleep to arrive without interference. The act of putting them on is quiet, unhurried, almost meditative. Hands follow habit. The fabric responds without resistance. Each movement carries the body closer to rest. By the time the pajamas are fully in place, the day has ended. There is no preference, no selection, no thought beyond comfort. And that is precisely why sleep comes easily, wrapped in soft, familiar folds. Night has settled, and the body is wrapped in cotton that has been worn many times before. The fabric is soft and pliable, shaped by countless evenings, shaped to the contours of the body. It feels familiar in every fold and crease. The threads are gentle against the skin, neither rough nor tight. The worn cotton carries the faint memory of previous nights. Warmth, slight stretching, the quiet impression of hours spent at rest. There is nothing new here, nothing surprising, only calm repetition. As the body shifts under the covers, the fabric moves in harmony, stretching where needed, folding softly around the arms and legs. Each movement is accompanied by the gentle rustle of material, quiet enough not to disturb the mind but present enough to reassure it. There is comfort in its worn softness. The fabric knows the body. The body knows the fabric. Together, they signal that the day has ended, and that rest is safe, easy, and uninterrupted. The feeling of worn cotton at night is subtle, ordinary, and calming, exactly what it needs to be to carry the body into sleep without effort, worry, or thought. Sometimes, as the day ends, buttons are left undone. A shirt is loosened at the collar, a cuff unfastened, a few fastenings left undone entirely. There is no rush to complete them. The garment is finished enough for now, and the body no longer needs restriction. The undone buttons hang gently, relaxed against the fabric. Threads stretch softly, accustomed to motion, familiar with the weight of the shirt. Nothing presses or pulls. Nothing demands adjustment. This small incompleteness carries no tension. It is not a problem to solve, nor a detail to fix. It simply exists as part of the ordinary end-of-day routine, unnoticed by anyone except the one who wears it. By morning, the undone buttons will be fastened once more, returning to their usual order. Until then, they rest freely, marking the passage from day to night, from activity to stillness. In leaving buttons undone, the body signals quiet release. Clothing, usually precise and controlled, relaxes alongside the mind, allowing both fabric and wearer to drift toward sleep without effort. Somewhere in the room, clothes are left draped over chairs. Shirts hang from the backs, pants folded carefully or casually laid across the seat. Socks may be tucked into the folds, or slippers pushed neatly beneath. Nothing about this arrangement is deliberate, it simply happens. The garments sit quietly through the night. They do not move unless disturbed. The fabric softens in the still air, settling into shapes familiar to the hands and body that will return to them tomorrow. No one pays attention to these clothes. They are part of the background of the room, ordinary and unremarkable. Yet their presence carries a subtle order, a reassurance that they are ready for the morning, already positioned for use. The quiet of the night passes over them. Shadows shift slowly as the moon moves or the light changes outside. The fabric bends and folds in the faintest ways, unnoticed, adapting gently to gravity and air. By dawn, the clothes remain where they were placed. They will be worn again, folded or hung, part of the endless rhythm of daily life. Resting on chairs overnight, they wait patiently, unobserved but ready, a silent companion to ordinary mornings. When the lights go out and the room is dark, the clothes that remain draped over chairs, folded on shelves, or hanging in closets become still. The fabric does not move. It holds its shape quietly, carrying the faint memory of how it was placed, yet responding to nothing at all. Even when the body is gone, the garments seem to settle into the darkness. Sleeves hang without sway. Pant legs rest flat. Shirts fold softly over the edge of a chair. Every piece waits patiently, aware only of its own form and position. No sound disturbs them. No movement presses against them. The dark amplifies their calm, making every crease, fold, and edge seem heavier with stillness, yet lighter with peace. The quiet becomes a presence, shared between fabric and room. The stillness of fabric in dark rooms carries a subtle comfort. It reminds the mind that some things remain constant, unchanging, and predictable, even when attention is elsewhere. As the night deepens, the garments remain exactly where they were left, resting, unmoving, steady, silent witnesses to the slow passage of hours until morning returns and the world begins again. Somewhere in the quiet routine of life, the same outfit is chosen again. Not out of necessity or lack of variety, but because it has worked before. The shirt, pants, and shoes are gathered from their usual spots, familiar and unremarkable, ready to be worn once more. The clothes are folded, smoothed, or hung with care, placed where they will be easy to reach in the morning. Nothing about the arrangement is flashy or deliberate. It exists solely to make the next day easier, to carry the body forward without thought. The fabric feels known. The pants bend at the knees exactly as expected. The shirt sits on the shoulders just right. The shoes accept the feet with gentle familiarity. Nothing surprises, nothing resists. There is no decision, no hesitation. The repetition itself is comforting. Wearing the same outfit tomorrow will feel effortless, predictable, and steady. Exactly what the body and mind have come to rely on. By the time the outfit is ready, the day can end fully. The garments wait silently, prepared to be worn, continuing the quiet rhythm of ordinary life, day after day. Day after day, the act of getting dressed follows the same quiet rhythm. Shirts are lifted from familiar spots, pants stepped into without hesitation, socks and shoes chosen by habit rather than thought. The body moves through each motion almost unconsciously, guided by repetition. There is a calm in this repetition. Nothing demands attention, nothing surprises. Sleeves are rolled the same way. Buttons are fastened in the same order. Fabrics settle into shapes they know well. Every detail repeats, carrying a subtle, steady comfort. The clothes themselves seem to remember the routine. Shirts bend at the shoulders, pants fold at the knees, shoes mold to feet that return day after day. Each garment becomes part of a pattern, existing to make the process smooth and unremarkable. By morning, afternoon, and evening, the cycle continues. Clothes are worn, washed, folded, and returned. The rhythm never falters. There is no excitement, no variation, only the gentle, soothing cadence of the ordinary. And in this quiet repetition, there is an unexpected peace. Dressing every day becomes less about choice and more about flow, allowing the mind to rest while the body moves through familiar, predictable motions. There are garments that exist simply to be worn. They are not reserved for celebrations, ceremonies, or noteworthy events. They have no story to tell, no eyes to impress, no purpose beyond the ordinary passage of the day. Shirts, pants, and socks are chosen for comfort, availability, and familiarity. Their colors are muted, their fabric soft from repeated use. Nothing about them demands attention, and nothing about them is remembered. They carry the quiet history of daily life, washed, folded, worn, and put away again. They have seen mornings, afternoons, and evenings without change. They have been present in routine tasks, mundane walks, and silent moments at home. When worn, they conform easily to the body. Sleeves bend, hems settle, and fabric moves without resistance. No mirror is consulted, no thought is spent on style. Their ordinariness is exactly their function. By the end of the day, these clothes return to their place, draped over chairs, folded on shelves, or hung quietly in closets. They are neither celebrated nor noticed, yet they carry the steady, unremarkable rhythm of life with perfect constancy. Some clothes do not call attention to themselves. They are plain, soft, and familiar, chosen not for fashion or flair but because they simply work. Shirts, pants, and socks fit easily. Fabrics move with the body, conforming without complaint, performing their function without thought. These garments are dependable. They have been worn, washed, folded, and worn again countless times. Seams remain strong, fabric remains pliable, and buttons or fastenings do their job without question. Nothing surprises, nothing interrupts. The reliability is quiet. There is no sense of accomplishment or pride in wearing them. Yet, their consistency carries a subtle comfort. The body knows what to expect. The mind is left free to wander, unburdened by choices or judgments. As the day unfolds, these simple garments follow every movement. They bend, stretch, and rest exactly as needed, offering their service without effort or recognition. By evening, they are returned to their usual places, ready for another day. Their value is not in beauty or novelty, but in steadfastness. In their quiet reliability, they support daily life with a calm that goes unnoticed, yet is always present. Some mornings, the choice of clothing is automatic. The same shirts, pants, and shoes are picked up without thought, not because they are preferred, but because they have always been worn. Familiarity guides the hands, and habit guides the mind. The fabric feels known. Sleeves and pant legs bend exactly where expected. Buttons and fastenings follow the same motions they always do. There is no need to adjust, no need to check. Everything fits as it always has. This repetition is comforting. There is no decision to make. The body moves through the motions easily, and the mind is free to wander or remain quiet. The routine itself is enough. Outside, the clothes draw no attention. Inside, they are unnoticed companions. They carry the calm of consistency, reminding the wearer that some things never need to change. By evening, the garments are folded, hung, or laid aside, waiting to be worn again. And the next morning, they will return to the body once more, ordinary, dependable, and completely familiar. Some days pass entirely without thought about clothing. The garments chosen are worn because they are there, ready, familiar. There is no weighing of options, no questioning of fit or color. No decisions are made, and no changes are needed. The body slips into the clothes easily. Shirts settle on shoulders, pants bend at knees, shoes accept the feet without adjustment. Everything fits exactly as it always does. The routine carries itself without thought, unremarkable and effortless. The quiet of this simplicity is subtle but steady. The mind is free, wandering or resting, while the hands complete the familiar motions. Buttons are fastened, sleeves rolled, socks pulled up, all by habit alone. Outside or inside, the clothes go unnoticed. Their purpose is served silently, to cover, to move with the body, to support the day without asking for attention. By evening, the garments are returned to their places. No excitement, no novelty, no ceremony. Just the calm satisfaction of repetition, consistency, and ordinariness, quietly marking the passage of another day. As the day winds down, the body carries the gentle weight of clothing that has been worn for hours. Shirts drape softly over shoulders, pants rest lightly on legs, and socks hug feet that have moved all day. The sensation is subtle, unremarkable, yet entirely familiar. There is comfort in this weight. It reminds the body of the day's routine, each fold and crease pressing softly, grounding without demanding attention. Fabric stretches where it has stretched before, bends where it has always bent, offering reassurance in its steadiness. Even as the room darkens, the clothing remains present. It does not restrict, does not bind. It simply rests against the skin, a quiet companion signaling that the day is ending and stillness is approaching. Removing or adjusting garments is slow and deliberate, guided by habit rather than thought. Each movement is familiar, soothing, and unhurried, carrying the body gently toward rest. By the time the last piece is set aside for the night, the weight is gone, but the memory of it lingers, a gentle reminder of the day's rhythm, and the ordinary comfort of familiar clothes as sleep takes over. In the quiet of the room, drawers and shelves hold clothes in steady, predictable order. Shirts are folded, pants stacked, socks paired. Nothing is out of place. Nothing demands attention. The arrangement exists simply to be there, ready when needed. Opening a drawer is effortless. The hands know exactly where each item rests. There is no searching, no hesitation. Every piece of fabric is familiar, waiting patiently for its turn to be worn. Shelves and drawers carry a subtle reassurance. Even if the room is dark or the mind is tired, the order remains. The neat folds and stacks reflect no urgency, no expectation, only readiness and calm. The quiet of this organization becomes part of the day's rhythm. Clothes move from storage to body and back again with ease. The repetition strengthens the sense of peace, reinforcing the simple flow of daily life. By evening, everything returns to its place. Drawers close gently. Shelves hold the garments quietly. And in this calm order, there is a small, steady comfort. A background of consistency that carries the rhythm of ordinary days. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and seasons shift quietly outside. Yet inside, the clothes remain the same. No new shirts arrive, no fresh pants are added. The wardrobe endures unchanged, weathering time without complaint. Fabric fades gently under sunlight and repeated washing. Sleeves stretch, hems soften, and colors dull. The garments carry the memory of countless mornings and evenings, folding into themselves like familiar companions. Despite the passage of time, there is no urgency. The clothes continue to serve, bending and settling exactly as they always have. They adapt silently to the wearer's needs, requiring nothing beyond their ordinary function. Even as autumn turns to winter, winter to spring, and spring to summer, the wardrobe remains steady. Each day, the same shirts, pants, and socks are worn, chosen without thought, relied upon without question. In this constancy lies a quiet comfort. Life moves forward outside, changing and unpredictable, while the clothes stay familiar, steady, and ready, a small, unremarkable anchor through the turning of seasons. Clothes change slowly with each wear and wash. The fabric, once stiff or crisp, relaxes. Threads loosen just enough to allow movement, fibers soften, and the garments begin to mold to the shape of the body that wears them. Shirts drape more naturally over shoulders. Pants bend easily at the knees. Sleeves and collars fold gently, no longer resisting motion. The material carries the memory of countless days, absorbing the rhythm of repeated use without complaint. This softness brings quiet comfort. Every movement is accompanied by gentle, familiar sensation. There is no need to adjust or tug. The clothing has learned the body's contours, responding effortlessly to motion. Over time, even small details, hems, cuffs, buttons, adapt to the wear. They no longer constrain, they no longer irritate. Everything yields, subtly and predictably, forming a partnership between fabric and wearer. By evening, the softened garments rest easily, folding into drawers, hanging on hangers, or draped over chairs. Their transformation is slow, unnoticed, but steady, an unremarkable comfort that makes ordinary days just a little smoother. The day winds down as it always does. Clothes that have served their purpose are removed gently, folded, hung, or draped exactly where they belong. Pajamas are chosen, nightwear settled, and the body prepares to rest. Every movement is familiar. Sleeves rolled down, buttons undone, pants eased off, performed without thought, guided by habit. The quiet rhythm of dressing and undressing repeats itself, unchanged and unremarkable. Evening light softens the room. Shadows stretch across chairs and shelves where clothes wait silently for another day. Drawers close, hangers remain steady, and fabric rests without movement. The space feels calm, steady, predictable. No excitement or variation marks the routine. There is no novelty, no decision to be made. The same actions are performed, the same garments used, the same order observed. And as sleep arrives, the day concludes quietly, perfectly ordinary, and completely familiar. Another day ends with the same routine, unhurried and unremarkable, carrying the comfort of repetition into the night. Before sleep fully takes over, clothes for the next day are set aside. They rest on chairs, shelves, or neatly folded piles, untouched, unbothered, waiting quietly for morning. There is no urgency, no thought beyond placement, only readiness. Shirts lie flat, pants folded along familiar creases, socks paired together. Every piece holds the memory of past days and the promise of the routine to come. The garments are still, patient, carrying the calm assurance that tomorrow will begin smoothly. No one pays attention to them. They do not call for notice. Yet their presence brings subtle order, a quiet comfort in knowing that the first steps of the day are already prepared, that choices have been quietly made without thought. The night deepens, shadows stretch across the room, and the clothes wait without movement. Their stillness mirrors the quiet of the sleeping household, blending seamlessly into the calm of darkness. By morning, they will be worn again, continuing the endless rhythm of daily life. For now, they wait in silence, dependable, ordinary, and entirely ready, the unremarkable sentinels of another day's routine.